Hey, are you thinking about moving to Seattle, Washington, maybe a suburb around it like Kirkland? Well, in today's video, we are going to be talking about the pros and the cons of living in this beautiful suburb just north of Seattle, Washington. If you want to know about the good and the bad about living in Kirkland, you're in the right spot, and let's jump to it. Hi, if this is your first time to my channel and you want to know about moving to Seattle or the suburbs around it like Kirkland, then subscribe to my channel and tap that bell for notifications so that you can be the first to learn about the current market here in Seattle, Washington. My name is Kelsey, and we get contacted all the time from people just like you looking to make their move to Seattle, and we absolutely love it. So whether you're moving in 7 days or 7 months, get in contact with me using the information in the description below. Let's hop on a Zoom call, get to know what you're looking for. I would love to meet you so we can help you make that smooth move right to Seattle or like Kirkland. So as I was saying in today's video, we're going to be talking about Kirkland, Washington. So Kirkland, Washington is a suburb right off of Seattle. It's on the northeast side of Lake Washington, which means it's on the northeast side of Seattle. It's about 18 minutes from Seattle, and its population is 92,000. So definitely less than Seattle, and a little bit less than suburbs like Renton and Bellevue, but still a pretty sizable community. One of the coolest things about this city, and you'll have to check out my vlog to know more, but so much of the city is located right on the Lake Washington waterfront. So there's definitely homes, a lot of residential areas up sort of on the hill from the water, but then just a beautiful downtown and lots of public spaces, which we'll get into here in a second. But it's just a really, really cool city. And I'm so excited to talk to you about the good and the bad about this city today. So let's get started with the first pro of living in Kirkland. The first pro is definitely just the beautiful setting. It is on the eastern shore of Lake Sammamish and has tons of public parks like Juanita Beach Park and Houghton Beach and Caroline Point, which I take you to in my video, and just a beautiful downtown marina park, which is right adjacent to the downtown area, is just phenomenal. There's also the Kirkland corridor, which is a just under 6-mile trail. It's concrete, it's paved. It's where an old railroad track used to be, and you can go by like the Google offices. You can hit Chain Line Brewery, just really cool space to enjoy just this beautiful kind of picturesque beach town outside of Seattle, Washington. There's also Juanita Bay Park, which is right next to Juanita Beach Park, but this has 110 acres of beach park area, so there's like boardwalks and trails and things like that. Just absolutely stunning. Kirkland is also a close drive to Seattle and Bellevue, and if you just go 30 minutes east, you hit those beautiful mountains, the Snoqualmie Mountains, so lots of fun to be had there. But this is definitely going to be more sort of a beach vibe in Seattle. And then again, you're super close to more of the mountainous region, only 30 minutes east. The number 2 pro of living in Kirkland, Washington is the strong economy. So similar to Bellevue and Seattle, there's a lot of businesses that call Kirkland home. So businesses like Google and Microsoft have businesses here, as well as other startup companies. This includes software development companies, telecommunication companies, cloud computing, biotech, you name it, they've got offices here in Kirkland. Also got a big healthcare and life sciences industry. Okay, this provides a lot of jobs. Evergreen Health is a major hospital. It's actually a great birth hospital for those to-be moms out there. So that provides a lot of jobs because Kirkland is also just a huge tourist attraction. You've got lots of jobs in retail and hospitality. There's hotels throughout the city, lots along the water, and tons of retail areas. So you've got Totem Lake has shopping centers, as well as Juanita Village, and in the downtown area, there's lots of retail boutiques and stores and things like that. And so that's going to provide a lot of jobs. Lastly, there are multiple education institutions. One is like Northwest University, which is a small college, but it's gonna have a lot of jobs available. So just another example of lots of jobs here, which makes Kirkland have a strong economy right located in the city. You don't have to go into the big city, Seattle, to have a job located right here. The third pro of living in Kirkland is it's got a really strong school district. Okay, Kirkland doesn't have its own district, but it's part of the Lake Washington School District. And there are 2 high schools in the Lake Washington School District located in Kirkland that serve Kirkland residents. It is rated the number 3 school district in the state of Washington. So Lake Washington is outstanding. It's got high ratings in academics, sports, diversity, and college preparation. There are 31,169 students, and 94% of them graduate in 4 years. 79% pass ELA tests, and 72% of kids are passing math tests. The community also has tons of involvement in the education system. So lots of volunteers, things like that, are going to aid and support those kids in the schools, which can be unique. The district also really values access to cultural and artistic experiences. Some kids even get to be a part of the Kirkland Performance Center. But in addition to, college prep and sports, they definitely value their artistic side as well. The number 4 pro in Kirkland is it's got a very vibrant downtown. If you get a chance to visit downtown Kirkland, it is the most charming and unique little spot that people just have to visit if they go to Seattle. It has huge, it's got beaches, public beaches along the whole beach. You've got casual dining and food trucks up to upscale dining on the water. In my vlog, I actually stop at a couple different places so you can kind of get an idea of that. But there's just lots of retail stores and cafes and bars and boutiques right in downtown. And then just located a little bit, just a few blocks from downtown, is this brand new kind of multi-use retail center. It's called Uptown Kirkland. And it's so cool. So it was built over the last 5-6 years. It's just wrapped up. It looks like there's still some construction. I just got to see the more updated version, and it's so cool. This place has more options for cuisine, which downtown Kirkland has tons of restaurants. There's even more. There's bars. There's happy hours. There's even a Topgolf lounge, kind of like some virtual golf. There's even a splash pad for kids, just really cool. So between the Uptown Kirkland and the downtown and the marina, it's just a really special downtown area that most suburbs off of a, metropolitan area like Seattle, it's not going to have a downtown like that. Kirkland Performance Center is also downtown. So if you want to catch a play or see a dance, it doesn't have to be just kids. There's also professional performers that perform here. That's available right in the downtown area, as well as art galleries and things like that, showrooms, stuff like that. So the other piece is that in downtown Kirkland, there are tons of events and festivals, Kirkland Uncorked and Summerfest and Oktoberfest, just to name a few. So tons of things happening in that downtown area. It's so much fun. You gotta check it out. The 5th pro of living in this suburb is the access to amenities. We already talked about this incredible downtown, but there's shopping centers. You've got Costco. You've got a couple Trader Joe's in the city. You've got Totem Lake, which has a bunch of retail. And then of course the downtown area. And there's also a bunch of retail centers out in the Juanita area, which which is in more northern Kirkland. Totem Lake and Juanita both are known for shopping and lots of dining options. There are recreational parks and trails throughout the city. There's great healthcare, so if you need to go to a hospital immediately, maybe you're having a baby or something more serious. Well, having a baby is pretty serious, but if you need to go to a hospital, you don't have to go downtown. Evergreen Health is super highly rated, and it's located right in Kirkland. And then, like I said, the education system right in Kirkland is fantastic. You don't have to send your kids to private schools because the public schools are fantastic. And then there's also events and cultural experiences available and there to entertain you right in the city. There's tons to do, and you don't have to travel into Bellevue or Seattle. And so that makes the amenities a huge plus of living in Kirkland. Now on to the cons of living in Kirkland, Washington. The number one con, which is definitely the most pronounced con of living here, is the cost of living. Although the cost of living is a little bit cheaper than Bellevue, it is still really expensive. So the median home price is over $1 million, and most homes that are over $4 million are going to be well over that. So well over $2 million. Some more modest houses or older homes, if you're not that close to water, might be a little bit cheaper. So that brings that median home price right at the $1,057,000 mark. But again, it's just super expensive living. So whether you're looking into healthcare options, paying for utilities, right? Water, electricity, heat, it all costs more. And although there's great options for transportation, as far as, getting to the highway, maybe taking the bus, even just just taking care of your car in Kirkland costs more money, and most residents do need a car in order to get to work and get to other places. Groceries and dining also cost more in Kirkland. So being a part of Kirkland, having an address in Kirkland means everything is going to cost more money. And the picturesque setting is incredible, but it does come at a huge price tag. With that high cost of living, you don't have that sort of more nightlife scene that you see a little bit more in Bellevue, but especially in Seattle. So if you're looking for more nightlife options, although there's more bars and cafes and lounges coming into Kirkland, especially in that downtown area, but it still is a suburb, so you're just not going to get that located out here. So you're paying a lot of money, and you might need to travel more for some late night fun. The number 2 con of living in Kirkland is the traffic congestion. So especially during peak hours, 405 is that main highway that runs through Kirkland, and during peak hours, it is slow. So you might work up north, in Everett and Edmonds, you might get stuck on traffic on 405. Even if you work south and you travel down into Bellevue, and then you commute west to Seattle, you're going to be hitting traffic. So you have to be on 405 in order to get back to your home in Kirkland, and 405 just gets really, really slow. Yes, they're working on more options for bikers, and they want the Sound commuter link rail to come out there. It's going to be part of Sound Transit 3, coming soon, but it's not there yet. So you might get stuck in traffic, and that can be a real drag. If you don't work from home and you do have to brave the traffic, 405 can get really slow. And living in Seattle lately, people have been moving here like crazy, and that means the traffic is just getting worse, especially on 405. And it's not just 4 to 5 p.m. It's sometimes can start at 1 or 2 p.m. So it's just something you got to accept if you're going to live here. But they're trying to add roads and freeways and lanes and all that jazz, but we'll see when it happens. That's what happens when you live in a popular city. So this leads me to the third con, which is limited public transportation. So like I said, we don't have a link rail here in Kirkland yet. So the main way of transporting publicly is using the Seattle Metro. Bus 255 will take you from Kirkland to downtown Seattle, but that's about it. Other than that, you've got Uber, you've got Lyft. and that's it. So you're probably gonna have to take a car, which again leads to the traffic congestion because there's just not that many options for public transit. The fourth con of living in Kirkland is just like my other videos. It's the weather, guys. Living in Seattle, Washington definitely comes with a con of crummy weather. Okay, we've got over 220 days of gray days. It could be cloudy, over 150 days of rain. Now, it's not hard rain. We don't have those like crazy, super pelty, rainstorms. It's more like this slow drizzle. Your pant legs get wet when you walk in. If they're not, rolled up, you're going to need a light jacket walking into work. But it's just kind of a light drizzle that will happen. And that's just part of living here in Seattle. But I will tell you, the weather from usually like April or May all the way through a lot of November is absolutely gorgeous. And we get so much more sun. Climate change might be to blame for this, but we get way more sun than we used to get. The temperatures in the summer are way warmer and drier than they ever used to be growing up here. And so although there are gray days, we are not the rainiest city. We're not even on the top 10 list in the country. But we are just really, really gray here. So you might need to get a happy light, but that's just kind of how it is. I will say what's really great, like I said, we don't have those huge, crazy, rain pelting storms. We don't have wildfires. We don't have tornadoes. Well, we have had an earthquake, but it's been over 20 years since we've had even like a sizable earthquake. And even that didn't do too much damage back in 2001. But yeah, it's just nice. No hurricanes, things like that. So no major weather storms. If you can deal with a few gray days, the weather's not too bad, but it is something to consider if you're coming from somewhere like Arizona or California and you're used to sun all the time. Last but not least, the fifth con of living in Kirkland, Washington is the crowded downtown during peak tourist season. So Kirkland is absolutely gorgeous, but everyone wants to come, especially in the summer. So people are coming and there's going to be nowhere to park downtown. That's a huge con. They're trying to work on ways to sort of divert traffic and add more parking spaces, especially when there is events and things like that in the downtown area. But Marina Park can get totally congested in there. It's just hard. You have to kind of walk. You have to park far away and then walk down to the park. It's just a little bit of a con, but tons of restaurants and shopping right in that downtown area just means for big crowds. I love that they added urban Kirkland because I think that makes for a downtown area that's a little bit more spread out. I think that's going to help a little bit with the congestion. But again, with those events happening right downtown, it just brings in the crowds and it can get a little bit touristy and busy, kind of like you live somewhere else. Maybe like, if you think about downtown Seattle, kind of Pike Place Market, very touristy, can get busy in the summer, things like that. So those are the cons. I don't think the cons outweigh the pros. I think the pros way outweigh the cons in this case. I love that Kirkland is not as expensive as Bellevue. It's a little bit smaller than Bellevue, but it has just so many public options to enjoy the waterfront. I think that's the best thing about Kirkland. So if you could buy a house anywhere close to the waterfront, or even just a short commute away, I think you're really going to enjoy living in a place like Kirkland. There's just not that many cons and you're pretty close to Bellevue and Seattle. It's just a little bit further out than living in Bellevue itself, but really special place to live. So I hope this video was of value of you and you learned some things about Kirkland. As always, subscribe to my channel and tap the bell for notifications so that you can be the first to learn about the current market here in Seattle. Remember, my name is Kelsey and I would love to hop on a Zoom call with you. Just click the link right below this video so we can talk. And I hope you had fun today and I'll see you around town. See you later.